Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a story time. I have no clue what I'm gonna name this story. I'm pretty sure you guys can see already the name of the title and the caption. So I have told some of my friends this story and they were like, you should totally make this into story time. So here I am making it into story time. I literally have like all of the receipts on my phone. But ladies, this story time is definitely out here for you. So I have all the messages. I gotta scroll down, go back to the beginning. This is back at the beginning of the year. I'm single, not ready to mingle, but I am very interested in getting to know new people, dating even maybe. See a lot of DMs and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it does get very overwhelming, it does. So here I am. I'm on Facebook and I'm answering some people and this guy messages me, right? Now his profile picture, he looks like put together. Let me just say that. So he messages me, I message him back, and I can't remember exactly how the conversation goes. So I'm gonna read off here. So he says, good night. I basically said good night as well. So he replies back, had you added and felt it would be rude to never say hello. I agree. Okay, we're friends on Facebook. Might as well we just say hey. Okay, you know, I want to know who am I friends with on this app. Just like about 3 days afterwards, I message him back because I'm constantly busy doing something. And here's something, guys, what a lot of you may not know. I love my bed. I love to sleep. When I'm not working, in my free time, I like to make my way to my bed. I messaged him back like 3 days later, and I'm sorry for just responding to your messages. I've been busy for these few days. So he replies back, no problem. I know how life can be. How are you? My name is, and here is where we're gonna give him his name. So he did explain that he has like this African name, and people may not, you know, think it's true. Go to Google and look for some African names because I have none that's popping up in my head. Male African names.
Here's a summary from 20,000 less than B greater than names less than B greater than. Male African names. Abib, one who wards off. Able, breath, vapor, transitoriness. ABIDEMI, I am father reborn.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with the first one, but say Abib. Because all of them were like, what? So let's call him Abib. We're gonna go with the first one, Abib. So he introduced himself and he was like, my name is Abib. African name, but I am a Bahamian. And I was like, oh, you know, that's a really nice name. It's nice to meet you. He said, thank you, same here. Is your name Kiki? And I told him, no, that's my nickname. Normally I give people my nickname. If it's not related to business, you know, I just give you my nickname, to be honest. He said, my mind went on the song when I saw it. And normally I get that a lot. A lot of people will sing the song, Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? So you never ever leave from beside me, cause I won't care. Song first came out, oh my gosh, it was cool at the beginning, but it's quickly started to get annoying. So I told him that I get that a lot, and he was like, I can imagine. It's basically like the beginning of us talking and, you know, just getting to know like the basics. How old are you, your name, and where you work, and what do you do for a living, and X, Y, and Z. I felt like the conversation was just going so smooth, and, you know, it wasn't like I was having to pull a conversation out of this guy. Things were just flowing naturally, and that's what I actually love. When a lot of guys message me, it's about, hey sweetness, hey sexiness, oh you know, you look good, or you look sweet, and I'm like, that's cool and all, but if you actually want to be serious, that is not gonna get you nowhere. Y'all know what you want at the end of the day. You call me sweetness, sexiness, we know what you want. People, we all know what you want. You want this cookie. You're not getting a bite, honey. No. Hard talking to someone on a mature level. It was really, really hard. So You know, that's what really gravitated me to continue talking to him even more. I was like, he seems interesting. So at the ending of that conversation, he sends me his number. And I'm like, you know, I don't give up my number. There are creeps out there. Even if I block you, homie, you could just get another number and call me back. I have experienced that before, and I'm really funny when it comes down to giving up my phone number. So I really let him know, like, you know, I really don't give up my phone number. I need to get to know you a little bit more to do that. So he was like, okay, sure, fine, that's cool. That's pretty understanding. He wasn't like a whole asshole about it. It seemed like he understood where I was coming from. So he finally asks us the question, are you dating or in a relationship? And I told him, I'm like, no love, I am single. So he asks, so you're single by choice, asking for me? And I was like, I was giddy and excited to talk to him. Even though I was not interested in a relationship, I was still interested in getting to know somebody. So I said, yes, I am single by choice, LOL. I'm at the point in my life where I'm working on me. I'm working on my career. I'm working on getting somewhere. I have a child. I need to be going places, you know, put so much time and effort into these relationships. I need to do that for me now. So he was like, good stuff. Since he's turning a certain age, turning 31, and no one knows him, I decided not to date, just be friends with people. Why did he worded it out like that? I'm like, I know I can read. Like, why are you? When I decided not to date, just be friends with people. Remember that. Just be friends with people. Anyone I will be, it will be my friend first. And when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of our people, they just jump into relationships like, oh, I like you, you're my boyfriend now. I don't know. No. Or when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, someone that understands, you know, because I always say the same thing too. Whenever I get into any serious relationship, I want us to be best friends. So I said to him, I totally agree. That's exactly how I feel and what I want in my next relationship. After talking for like almost a month, he asks, would you like to exchange numbers? Because there would be some times where I'm extremely busy, or he would be busy and, you know, he wouldn't be able to answer my message. I asked him, I'm like, you're not a creep that'll text me nonstop, right? Because that has happened to me before. So he was like, no, that's disrespectful to text someone nonstop. Plus, with his job, he wouldn't be able to do it anyway. You sound like you've experienced it. Now, I told him no, because I didn't want to give the guy any ideas. Like, don't fucking stalk me, okay? So that's where we stopped talking on Facebook, Messenger, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what people call it these days. That's where we stopped talking. And then we moved on to talking on WhatsApp. So he messages me the same night saying, hey, good night. What did I call him? Abib. Okay, so we're talking and he's telling me that he has watched some of my videos and he did subscribe to my channel. So hi, you are now a Storytime. Am I the only one that gets weirded out when they hear themselves speak through a voice note? Like, ugh. I always think I sound disgusting. I feel like people allow the likes and shares to demand too much attention. Say or post what you want. It's your page, you're independent. So of course the conversation is just going absolutely well. Like we always have topics to talk about, and he, like I said, he was just a perfect gentleman. So now let's go to the first time we actually met in person. So I'm reading through our messages and I can easily see why I was just okay with talking to this guy, because he would check up on me during the day, even though I would communicate to him, hey, I'm gonna have a busy day and this is what's going on. But he would still check up throughout the day. He says, if you want, you can visit church on Sunday. And of course, I was like, of course. I would love to visit your church. Now the day of church. And actually, this was Valentine's Day. He asked, do you want me to come for you? And I was like, that would be lovely. I could have just get there myself, but I was like, it would actually be a really nice feeling for someone to pick me up, go somewhere, You know what I mean? And we were talking for a minute. So I was like, you don't seem like a crazy stalker. So I trust you knowing where I live without stalking me. Just letting you know I'm dressing smart, casual, short sleeve, colorful color shirt. And I'm like, okay, I like that. All right, you kind of want us to look the same, you want me to match your match. Now he comes for me, right? And he just has this big smile on his face, and you could see where he was trying to like look all cool and whatnot. Good morning, and he compliments me on my look again. He says how beautiful I look or whatever. And the ride to the actual church was not that long because it's like right up the street from where I live. It's not far at all. And so we get there. He lets me out. He goes to park or whatever. We walk inside. Now, of course, I've never been to this church before, so I'm walking behind you. I don't want to just look like I'm lost in the sauce. I'm here with you, so you know. So the service was actually beautiful. It was a beautiful service. I would actually go back there again. But one thing I did notice during the whole service, he was very fidgety. Like he just kept moving and shaking his leg, and he looked like he was uncomfortable. Like he just wanted the service to hurry up and be over and done with. And I noted that. I'm like, I noticed that you did that. Would it be weird if I vlog church experience? I feel like it would be weird. Like you're in church, you're supposed to be paying attention. You have this camera up. You know, because my memory is not the best, so sometimes I like to like record things so that I can look back and remember it. Anyway, so now church is out and we leave. Like, would you like to go to lunch? And I'm like, yes, I would. We ended up going to this restaurant. The car ride there was pretty good. You know, the conversation was still going. The vibe that we got from one another over text was the same thing. Just keep in mind, he's not coming on to me in a hard way at all. He's giving me compliment. It isn't overbearing, right? So I'm starting to open up and I'm telling him some things about myself that not most people know, you know. He's doing the same thing. He's telling me about his life experience, and the waitress, she comes and it seems as though he's a regular there because she knows him. They started, you know, to have that conversation. So he just introduced me to her. Our food finally came out and he's like, aren't you gonna take a picture of your food? I'm surprised you're not gonna take a picture. And I have like this memory of this moment. Fast forward, we're done. He asked, do you want to take a picture? I'm like, yes, I would like to take pictures. So he goes, we go on the deck and he's taking some photos of me. So we leave there and he drops me back home again. Like the conversation throughout the whole day was very, very good. Now we did this church lunch / dinner date like 3 times. 3 times were amazing. And we're talking and we get to the point where we're talking about movies or whatnot, and I let him know like, yes, I have not watched the Avengers Endgame. It was out in the movies, and every time I went to go, it was never available, and I refused to just watch it. Like, I want to watch it in theaters. That's where I want to watch it. Even if I had to pay extra to request it, because I know this is gonna be the So he was like, we could watch the movie by me. Okay, you know, I think I feel comfortable coming by you at this point. You know, you've proven to be very sweet, gentleman, like I said, for the umpteenth time. You know, I think I know you at this point. You know, I think I know you. So I get to his house and we actually end up going in the room, and I realized, okay, he lives with his mom. Looking at the house, it seems as though he probably would be living with her, and so, oh my gosh, it's an hour. I hope this said. So it seems as though he's actually living with her until he gets his, you know, he's continuing building his house. So anyway, we go inside his room and he prepares some snacks for me. He got like some hot dogs, and we talked about this prior to, about what snacks I like. I let him know, like, I like popcorn and I don't mind hot dogs and all that stuff. So that's what he got for me, and something to drink. The movie's starting and he already watched it himself, so he's just rewatching it for me, right? At least this is what I thought. Keep in mind, he never came on to me rough, never came on to me so direct. Keep that in mind, okay? So he gets my snacks and my drinks, and he comes in the room. When he wrestles everything down for me, he asks me, he was like, do you mind if I take my shirt off? I'm like, yeah, sure, you know, that's not a problem, not a thing. Go ahead, you can take your shirt off. Because in my mindset, I'm thinking, listen, when I'm home, I don't have much on either. I want to be relaxed on my own home. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, in my mindset, I'm like, yeah, sure, it's not a problem. This is your home at the end of the day. This is not where I live. This is your home. So he does that, and then he gets in the bed, and this is where things just go left. I'm like, he gets in the bed and we're starting to watch the movie. I'm sitting up because my intentions is not to do anything except for watch this movie, because that's what we were talking about. So I'm sitting up in the bed and I'm eating the popcorn, right? And next thing I know, you know, he just starts, we're watching it at first, right? So he probably waits about like 5 minutes to like almost 10 minutes to really start like acting weird. But he's just like stroking my hand, and just like he started to lay down in the bed, and he started staring at me and telling me, oh my gosh, you look the exact same in person as you do in your photos. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. You know, he's starting to make me feel uncomfortable at this point. But I didn't voice that, obviously, because I thought like this has to be a joke. Like, how can you go from night to day within, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just weird. So he's just like caressing my hands and started like holding, he started doing like one of these, you know. I'm trying to hold my hand, and I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to do that because that, you know, it's like just too touchy. He's not like touchy in the wrong places. He's like caressing my arm and stuff like that. Like, it was weird. About an hour in after all of that, and he asked me, where do you see us in the next so-and-so time? And I told him again, like, you know, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not interested in a relationship or whatever. You know, I'm just, you know, we're dating, or we're talking, or we're getting to know one another on a friendship level, you know. This basically all, you know. And he's like, okay, all right, true. And I hit him back with the same question, and he kind of gave me the same answer, basically. Like, all right, cool. So he gets up, he goes out, and I ended up going on the next side of the bed, right? So say this is the bed, right? Over here is the door, and I'm on the outside of the bed. So when he gets up, right, so I ended up going on the other side of the bed. And why did I do that? I don't know. He went from laying down next to me, right? Like, our heads are like, my head's here, his head's here, right? So he goes down to my feet, and then he grabs my feet and started giving my foot a massage. And I'm like, you know, this is very weird. I said, you know, you don't have to, that's okay. You don't have to give me a massage. I'm all right. I don't want to be touched like that. And he thinks like, oh, I'm playing, I'm joking. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Because he started like rubbing my calves and started going my thighs, and I was like, yeah, no, you need to stop. For some reason, the movie just stops playing, and it was really awkward. That's where things got awkward. The movie stopped, and you know, we were like, okay, we can just finish it another time. And you know, we got in the car, and things were extremely awkward because it was awkward. You know, how could you go from being gentle and soft and a gentleman and a church boy, respectable young guy, to going like, I just wanna do the deuce, turn me completely off. Drops me home, I tell him good night or whatever. And again, because of that situation, I did not want to go back. I didn't feel comfortable going back, to be honest, because I'm like, what if this happens again? And if I do end up going back, I'm gonna have to really like put my foot down and let him know, like, yeah, no, this is not happening. He just started to like to die down, and you know, we're still talking, but he's still giving me the gentleman vibe, right? But on my end, I'm like, yeah, you kind of turned me off a lot by doing that. I'm asking like, when are we gonna finish the movie? Now he's not asking me like constantly, asking me every once in a while, right? So I think we met up probably, I would say like 2 weeks after that. So I'm like, you know what, let me just like watch this movie, get it over with and be done with it. And that's it. I'm never coming to your house again, right? Because I wanted to see, honestly, I wanted to see if he's gonna take the hint from the first time and try it again. He didn't. He did not. Spoiler alert, he did not get the hint. That was me actually playing with fire, to be honest. I shouldn't have went back thinking, okay, let me see if he's gonna do this again. But anyway, finally, after like 2 weeks, I go back over. I went there because I'm like, listen, if I need to just dip, at least I have my vehicle. I can go. I don't gotta wait on you to drive me back. It won't be the awkward silence. Just in case. Sent one of my girlfriends the location where I was at. I let her know his name and all that situation. I'm like, this is who I'm with. This is where I'm going. And if I don't message you by this time, call the motherfucking cops. There's girl there, right? And it was the same thing again. Goes to the room, he asks us if he can take his shirt off, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But I'm sitting up there and I'm all, you know, like this. I'm getting interviewed or something. So I'm like, you know, play the movie because it ain't gonna happen again. Gets the snacks, gets the popcorn, and got the drink. And he says again the same thing he said the first time. You don't want to lay down? And I say it in such a professional way, like it's still in a, like, you know, way that I'm stern, but I'm not like rude, you know? So I'm like, no, that's okay. I'm actually gonna sit up. I don't want to lay down. So he's trying it again. He's trying to hold my hand, you know, just rubbing against, you know, and I was like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with you doing that. He did something a third time. Right when I rejected him again, he sit up with the quickness. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. Like, I'm fully aware when someone is pissed. So he's on the phone with this person, and mind you, the room is not that big to begin with. The TV is like that far away from us, right? So he goes on this phone call. He's talking so loud. I mean, he's not shouting, but he's talking loud enough to the point where he shows me that he's upset. You are just mad because you can't get none of this cootie cat. You just waited. You come on me so damn hard. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm gonna just give it up. I need to get to know you a little better. You know what I'm saying? But gotta be like that here now. He's talking for like a good 3-5 minutes, right? And he's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna talk to you later. I'm doing something right now. He doesn't even tell the person he's talking to that he actually has company over, right? Oh, and I forgot to mention, he actually turned the TV down to talk to this person. I'm like, wow, okay. So I was right when I thought that you were actually doing this on purpose. It's time to be petty. Hangs up the phone, whatever, and he continues to be on his phone, just typing away. And he lays back down so rough. You know, like when you're mad at your spouse and you just like yuck the sheet and you lay down? He did one of those, right? I'm gonna look back like, I'm gonna watch this movie anyway. I could have got up and I could have left him like, you are intentionally wanting me to feel uncomfortable, so I'm gonna do the same to you. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was not into the movie anymore after that, I'm gonna act like I'm so into this movie. He sits up with the quickness and then he asks me, do you want something to drink? And I'm like, no, that's right. Oh, I forgot to freaking mention at the beginning when he held my hand or whatever and he was just like rubbing on me and I told him to stop, you know, that's when he got mad. How could I forget this? He got upset and he laid down and he was texting on his phone laying down, right? And I asked him, I'm like, are you okay? You seem upset, right? He did not respond. He didn't say anything at all. He got off the phone call And then he laid back down with the quickness. I asked him again, are you okay? I'm like, at this point, it's obvious that you're not fine. Are you really okay? So he was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, all right. He asks me, do you want something to drink? And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. Because I'm like, at this point, I don't know if you're gonna drug me because I don't want to give it up on my own. You may just try to take it. But at this point, like now things are, you know, I'm actually thinking. He gets up anyway. I would say like about 3 minutes after he asks me that, mind you, he's still on his phone and goes out for like 10 minutes. So I'm just like freaking out in the room. I'm like, what if he tries to kill me? And then he comes back in with a drink. But instead of getting in the bed, back in the bed, he goes to sit down on his chair. He's just rolling around in it, right? Just like back and forth, back and forth. And you can see where he's just upset. He's like so freaking pissed. And he's sitting in the chair, he's going back and forth. And like I said, like I'm still eating the popcorn because at this point, like this is the only thing I can trust at this point. So I'm eating the popcorn and it's like I can only trust this and this only. So if you guys have watched the movie, The Endgame, but at the ending part of the movie, it's long for no reason. It's pretty long, right? So he's shaking his foot, he's like this, he got his hand underneath his chin and he's just rolling back and forth in the chair. I'm still watching the movie, I'm eating the popcorn like so in my mindset, I'm like, you're really trying to make me feel uncomfortable at this point. So therefore, I'm going to give you the same energy. I'm going to make you feel just as uncomfortable as you're trying to make me feel uncomfortable. It takes long. I'm sitting down waiting to see words pulling up on the screen so then I can get up and I can go, right? The movie is finally over, right? And you know what he does? The minute words pop up, he popped up so quick. He was like, all right, let's go. I was like, I legit stared at him for like 5 seconds. And in a room, in silence, in a room like that, when you're just staring at someone for like 5 seconds, it feels like it's forever. So I'm looking at him. He's like, all right, let's go. I'm looking at him like, yeah, let's go. Got my shit. He was like, oh, no. If you don't want to go, we could stay, you know, we could stay. It's fine. We can stay. And I was like, no, no. I gotta go home to my child. It's awkward. It's silence, you know. It's silence, complete silence, me walking to the door. It's not that far away to go, but I'm walking to the door. He walks me outside to the gate, right? Still trying to play it all cool, whatever. But I go on my phone and I notice that his picture is not showing anymore. I'm like, Like anyway, I'm not gonna pay that any mind, right? So I drove home, blast my music up. I turned it up so freaking high. Bed off, okay? So now I get home and I go to text homie and I let him know, I'm like, I'm home safe, good night. Tell me why only one text went through. So then I go on Facebook where we met to begin with. I am blocked. So I messaged him and I said, guess I got blocked because I didn't want to cuddle, shake my head. Because he was like, I want to cuddle. I forgot to mention that. But he was like, oh, let's cuddle. And I'm like, I don't want to cuddle. I don't want to lay down with you. I don't want to. I don't want to be touched. I'm pretty sure he got that message because with phones, you could receive the message. I decided not to respond. Actually, when I was looking at the messages on Messenger, I realized that he unblocked me off of Facebook. I realized also that he unblocked me off of WhatsApp as well. That is today's story time. All the swings that I had are now gone, okay? So it just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter if a guy is wearing a really nice suit, guy that is goes to church, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, most guys just want one thing and one thing only, and that's that quick Some guys, they just ask for it, and then some guys, they just play with your feelings. They play with your heart. They just play with you until they can get what they actually want. So females, watch out for guys like this, like the church boy. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's story time. First time I ever got blocked like that in my life. He blocked me with the quickness. He was like, I'm not getting what I want. The hell? Bye, bitch. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.